6:45 a.m. This is the Sri Lanka Broadcasting Corporation. The news edited by J. Yogaraj and read by Mario Vijayawardena. The headlines. The EU to close airspace to Russian airlines and fund weapons for Ukraine. A special UN Security Council meeting will be convened today to ease the tension. Extended power cuts to continue today. Sri Lanka detects 977 new cases of COVID-19. Sri Lanka also confirms 24 more coronavirus deaths. The government is to consider providing financial relief to Ukrainian tourists residing in Sri Lanka. Sri Lanka and France discuss strengthening economic relations. In news overseas, Ukraine invasion, Putin puts nuclear forces on high alert. In sports news, Chelsea goalkeeper Kepa Arrizabalaga misses decisive penalty as Liverpool wins Carabao Cup after shootout drama. The European Union's chief executive says the 27-nation bloc will close its airspace to Russian airlines, fund supplies of weapons to Ukraine and ban some pro-Kremlin media outlets in response to Russia's invasion. European Commission President Ursula von der Leyen said on Sunday that for the first time ever, the EU will finance the purchase and delivery of weapons and other equipment to a country that is under attack. Von der Leyen added that we are shutting down the EU airspace for Russians. We are proposing a prohibition on all Russian-owned, Russian-registered or Russian-controlled aircraft. These aircraft will no longer be able to land in, take off or overfly the territory of the EU. She also said the EU will ban the Kremlin's media machine, the state-owned Russia Today and Sputnik, as well as their subsidiaries, will no longer be able to spread their lies to justify Putin's war and to sow division in our union. Von der Leyen added that the EU will target Belarus President Alexander Lukashenko for supporting Russia's widespread military campaign in Ukraine. Meanwhile, a special UN Security Council meeting will be convened today to ease the tension. The members of the NATO will also attend this meeting. The main objective is to bring the conflicting parties to the negotiation table and ease the tension in the region. The Public Utilities Commission of Sri Lanka announces that it has approved the request of the Ceylon Electricity Board for extended power cuts today. The PUCSL said that power cuts of 5 hours and 15 minutes will be imposed for areas under the groups P, Q, R, S, T, U, V, W. This will be carried out under 2 phases with a power cut of 2 hours and 45 minutes between 8:30 a.m. and 4:45 p.m. and another 2 hours between 4:45 p.m. and 9:45 p.m. Meanwhile, power cuts of 4 hours and 40 minutes are to be imposed for areas under groups A, B and C. This will also be executed under 2 phases with 2 hours and 40 minutes between 8:30 a.m. and 4:30 p.m. and 2 hours between 4:30 p.m. and 10:30 p.m. This news broadcast comes to you from the Sri Lanka Broadcasting Corporation. The Health Ministry says that another 977 persons have tested positive for COVID-19 yesterday. The total number of coronavirus cases registered in the country thus far climbs to 645,037 with this. Meanwhile, over 20,000 patients infected with the virus are currently undergoing treatment island-wide. The Director General of Health Services has confirmed another 24 coronavirus-related deaths for February 27th, increasing the death toll in Sri Lanka due to the virus to 16,190. This figure includes 15 males and 9 females, according to the Government Information Department. 4 of the deceased are between the ages 30 to 59 years, while the remaining 20 are in the age group of 60 years and above. Meanwhile, the Health Ministry reports that 244 patients who had tested positive for COVID-19 have completed their recovery and have been discharged within the last 24 hours. This brings a tally of COVID-19 recoveries in the country to 608,719, while approximately 19,175 patients infected with the virus are currently undergoing treatment. Foreign Minister Professor G.L. Pires has met with France's Minister Delegate for Trade and Economic Attractiveness, Frank Reister, at the Foreign Ministry in Paris to discuss French support for the expansion of economic relations with Sri Lanka in a variety of sectors. A memorandum of understanding was signed between the two ministers. At the conclusion of their discussion, the Foreign Ministry said, The foreign minister attended several meetings at the Chamber of Commerce of France and also met with Councillor Bernard Quinet and head of International Business Networks Estelle Gillot at the Chamber of Commerce. The main focus of discussion was networking arrangements between French and Sri Lankan companies and French expertise for educational programs in entrepreneurship, business management and related subjects, the statement said. Professor Pires held discussions with François Robin of MEDEF International, the largest association of companies in France. That's local news.
The main news story is brought to you by Siddhalepa Vedamahatmya.
The government is to consider providing financial relief to Ukrainian tourists residing in Sri Lanka at present. It is reported that nearly 4,000 Ukrainian tourists currently in Sri Lanka are to be granted a visa extension owing to the ongoing conflict in Ukraine. Tourism Minister Prasanna Ranatunga said that the government has taken measures to extend the visas of Ukrainian tourists who are unable to return home. The decision has been taken at a meeting held between Minister Prasanna Ranatunga and Immigration authorities. He said that a proposal in this regard will be presented to the Cabinet during its weekly meeting today.
The main news story was brought to you by Siddhalepa Vedamahatmya.
This is Watchlight.
Health authorities have requested the public to follow the health guidelines strictly as the coronavirus infections crossed the 1,000 mark for the last 3 weeks. This cannot be taken easy, health authorities warn. The Director General of Health Services, Dr. Asela Gunawardena, said that it is a high risk for the public to get involved with large gatherings or get-togethers. He requests the public to refrain from travelling between the provinces. He points out that 900 to 1,000 coronavirus patients are still being reported daily in the country. Therefore, he emphasizes that the pandemic can spread rapidly again if the public acts irresponsibly.
World News, brought to you by courtesy of...
No matter what anyone says, for your lease, visit the Leasing Mahagedara. People's Leasing, friendly leasing Mahagedara. More information from the nearest People's Leasing branch.
People's Leasing, the trusted leader.
In world news headlines, USA director visits the Poland-Ukraine border, speaks with Ukrainians fleeing Russia's invasion. Ukraine invasion, Putin puts nuclear forces on high alert. Ukraine invasion, EU shuts airspace to Russian planes. President Joe Biden's USA Director Samantha Power was at the Poland-Ukraine border on Sunday observing arriving refugees. The United States Agency for International Development, USAID, is a federal agency primarily responsible for administering civilian foreign aid and other assistance. Power reflected on what she saw at the border, mentioning how the group of people crossing the border are almost exclusively women and children. Vladimir Putin has ordered Russia's military to put its deterrence forces, which include nuclear weapons, on special alert. He told defense chiefs it was because of aggressive statements by the West amid widespread condemnation of his invasion of Ukraine. The announcement does not mean Russia intends to use the weapons. The US immediately condemned his decision, calling it an unacceptable escalation. Last week, Mr. Putin had warned that whoever tries to hinder us in Ukraine would see consequences you have never seen in your history. The EU has imposed a blanket flight ban on Russian planes, the head of the European Commission, Ursula von der Leyen, has announced. Quote, "We are shutting down EU airspace for Russian-owned, Russian-registered or Russian-controlled aircraft," unquote, she said. All such planes, including the private jets of oligarchs, will now be unable to land in, take off from or fly over any EU nation. Russian planes have also been banned from UK airspace. North Korea fired what could be a ballistic missile on Sunday, military officials in South Korea and Japan said, in what would be the first test since the nuclear-armed country conducted a record number of launches in January. South Korea's Joint Chiefs of Staff reported that North Korea had fired a suspected ballistic missile towards the sea off its east coast from a location near Sunan, where Pyongyang's international airport is located. And now the main points of the world news segment once again. USAID director visits the Poland-Ukraine border, speaks with Ukrainians fleeing Russia's invasion. Ukraine invasion, Putin puts nuclear forces on high alert. Ukraine invasion, EU shuts airspace to Russian planes. That was world news.
World News, Brought to you by courtesy of
For your wheel lease, visit the Leasing Mahagedara. People's Leasing, friendly leasing Mahagedara. More information from the nearest People's Leasing branch.
People's Leasing, the trusted leader.
Development News is brought to you by Let's take all out of the coconut tree and make the island thriving and prosperous. Call our hotline 1928. WhatsApp 070 400 1928.
The Buttala Siriyagama village will be developed under the instruction of Minister Chamal Rajapaksa. A meeting in this regard was held yesterday under the patronage of the minister. A sum of 10.7 million rupees has been set aside for this purpose.
Development News was brought to you by The coconut tree is well grown in almost all the parts of the island. It is an exceptional source of extra income. The shell, the husk and almost all the parts of the coconut tree makes you money, providing you with an excellent extra source of income. It will also help to nourish the economy of the country. You will be guided with all necessary informations regarding the coconut cultivation, with the novel cultivation techniques and all other related and upgraded informations by the Coconut Research Institute, Lunavilla. Call our hotline 1928. WhatsApp 070 400 1928. Sports News is brought to you by
Sampath Bank. We present your future.
In soccer news, Liverpool won the Carabao Cup after narrowly edging a dramatic penalty shootout. Following 120 minutes of pulsating action at the Wembley, Chelsea goalkeeper Kepa Arrizabalaga missed the decisive penalty after his Liverpool counterpart Koeman Keller had scored. There had been multiple goals ruled out during the game, with very little to separate two excellent teams.
Cash through NSB globally and win wonderful gifts locally. From October 1st, 2021 to December 31st, 2022. Remit a minimum of $100 or an equivalent amount in any foreign currency 3 times through NSB U Trust.
Business News, sponsored by National Savings Bank, the safest place for your money.
The Commercial Bank Group has ended 2021 with a GI of 163.675 billion, an improvement of 7.7%, with interest income accounting for more than 80% of the top line in a year of mixed fortunes. The group reported an interest income of 132.818 billion rupees for the year ending 31st December 2021, reflecting a growth of 7.04%.
Business News, sponsored by
Cash through NSB globally and win wonderful gifts locally. Will you be the lucky winner of the NSB Golden Jubilee? 50 gold sovereigns for the top prize winner of the NSB Golden Jubilee. Scooters for the 10 second prize winners. iPhones for the 10 third prize winners. Mountain bikes for the 29 fourth prize winners. From October 1st, 2021 to December 31st, 2022. Remit a minimum of $100 or an equivalent amount in any foreign currency 3 times through NSB U Trust.
Economic News, courtesy of
I bought my daughter a laptop for her work by managing my finances. Whatever the expenses may be, I can't afford to miss out on life's special moments like her birthday or our anniversary. So you need to invest to make your family's future flourish.
Saving money isn't easy when you have responsibilities. That's why we promise to give you the best returns and guarantee on your investment. LOLC Finance Fixed Deposits. Maximize your savings. LOLC Finance PLC, incorporated on the 13th of December 2001, is rated SLA stable by ICRA Lanka Limited and is licensed by the Monetary Board of the Central Bank of Sri Lanka under the Finance Business Act No. 42 of 2011.
Sri Lanka is going to take concrete steps in the near future to build the infrastructure to attract Indian tourists. The Indian outbound tourist market represents one of the largest growing markets in the world and accounts for the largest amount of arrivals to Sri Lanka. As part of this strategy, the Travel Agents Association of India has signed a memorandum of understanding with Sri Lanka Tourism and the Sri Lankan Association of Inbound Tour Operators to promote growth. As an initial measure, the TAAI annual conference this year is to be held in Colombo from the 19th to the 21st of April.
I bought my daughter a laptop for her work by managing my finances. Whatever the expenses may be, I can't afford to miss out on life's special moments like her birthday or our anniversary. So you need to invest to make your family's future flourish.
Saving money isn't easy when you have responsibilities. That's why we promise to give you the best returns on your investment. LOLC Finance Fixed Deposits. Maximize your savings. LOLC Finance PLC, incorporated on the 13th of December 2001, is rated SLA stable by ICRA Lanka Limited and is licensed by the Monetary Board of the Central Bank of Sri Lanka under the Finance Business Act number 42 of 2011.
The Weather Report.
The Met Department says several spells of showers will occur in the eastern and the Uva provinces and in the Polonnaruwa and Matale districts. Showers or thundershowers will occur at a few places in the western and the Sabaragamu provinces and in the Kandy, Nuwara Eliya, Gala and Matara districts during the evening or night. The general public is kindly requested to take adequate precautions to minimize the damages caused by temporary localized strong winds and lightning during the thundershowers. This weather report was issued this morning at 4:30 a.m. Further details could be obtained by visiting the official website of the department. Meanwhile, the international weather forecast website AccuWeather.com reports that the day's weather will be bright with occasional showers. Today's daytime temperature would be around 32 degrees Celsius. There will be light showers in many places in the Colombo district in the night. Tonight's temperature will be around 24 degrees Celsius and there will be scattered showers in select spots late in the night. The ground temperature would be 24 degrees Celsius at the time of this news broadcast. The air quality index AQI is 24, which shows a fair condition in Colombo. The air quality is generally acceptable for most individuals. However, sensitive groups may experience minor to moderate symptoms from long-term exposure. And now the main points of this news broadcast once again. The EU to close airspace to Russian airlines and fund weapons for Ukraine. A special UN Security Council meeting will be convened today to ease the tension. Extended power cuts to continue today. Sri Lanka detects 977 new cases of COVID-19. Sri Lanka also confirms 24 more coronavirus deaths. The government is to consider providing financial relief to Ukrainian tourists residing in Sri Lanka. Sri Lanka and France discuss strengthening economic relations. In news overseas, Ukraine invasion, Putin puts nuclear forces on high alert. In sports news, Chelsea goalkeeper Kepa Arrizabalaga misses decisive penalty as Liverpool wins Carabao Cup after shootout drama. That concludes this news broadcast and now it's back to Sharifa Tahir